Welcome to Linux Saloon, a place to discuss tech, open source, and where Linux is always on tap. Each show we'll have a talk about Linux projects such as the distribution, desktop environment, or application. We also chat about the news or any variety of topics from the community. Anything is Linux tech and open source related is on the table for discussion. I'm Nate, Linux fitness and vintage tech enthusiast. And with me today, I got a fine panel of people. I've got Dale, new to Linux, or new to Linux, depending on, if you're nasty. I have Jinda. I can't read whatever that script is, but introduce yourself with the speaker. Then I have Adam, Eris, Ben, Mike Chilson, and Sleepy Vince. How is everybody?
Wonderful.
Excellent.
Yeah, I can't read that script. What is that?
Yeah, I can't read it either.
Anyway, welcome.
I think he's Trivio or something like that.
Okay. Well, it looks so fancy, and it's been so long since I've written in cursive, except my signature when I wrote a check recently for some meat from a farmer. But anyway, if you would be so kind as to like that smash button or whatever, and if you feel so inclined, you can provide your face here on Discord. There's a link in the chat stream if you'd like to join. And also, be sure to do the straw poll if you haven't done so already. Do you run images? And so on the docket for today, we're going to do a little straw poll on that. Talk about what's on the news flight tonight. Do a community free pour, but first we do Linux and tech. This is not really, this is more of a discussion thing. Today is October 25th. So happy October 25th, everybody. Where were you on October 25th, 2001? Was anybody here excited for anything? Okay, think back to what came out in 2001 on this day. Nobody?
I have a hard time remembering yesterday.
Okay, that's fair. So do I. Windows XP. Yeah! Adam, thank you so much. So Windows XP came out, 24 years ago today. Was anybody excited about downloading it? The Fisher-Price OS? No?
No.
Not a bit?
Dang, that's a long time ago, feels like.
It's a long time ago.
I recall waiting online for Windows 95, which at the time seemed really cool.
Yeah. Windows 95 was good. I like Windows 98 SP2. That was probably that was much better. But yeah. I never actually used XP. I didn't use XP for quite a while after. I mean, I think I got it with my laptop that I bought, but I didn't really use it. So anyway, I just thought maybe somebody here might be excited or care or, well, I don't know, reminisce about the days of when computers were hopeful and optimistic and looked like the future was not going to be controlled by bots and AIs and everything else that makes people sad. But anyway, all right. Does anybody have an XP machine around just for kicks?
I do.
Yeah. Do you think XP is now considered retro?
I do. I still have it on my HP ProBook sitting here, Nate.
Definitely.
Yeah. Definitely retro?
Pretty sure it is, yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure
I had
if it
an
was
XP. So, yeah, I had an XP machine until 2023, and that's the machine that I first switched to Linux on because it was extra, and it was so slow, it was practically unusable.
So War Thunder said, my father was excited for XP when it came out. At home, we upgraded the whole house very quickly. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I think, was it XP that had it had kind of almost like a sort of a DOS box thing built into it? Or am I misremembering it? It had a mode where you could play DOS games fairly well, I thought.
You could right-click and say,
I mean, they're compatibility options.
Yeah, compatibility, yeah.
Did that work very well? I don't recall exactly. 'Cause I was kind of not.
Not in my experience. Like occasionally, but not generally. No.
Okay. I wasn't sure. I was on Linux at that time. I pretty much left Linux in the Windows 98 era. For me, so because I wasn't fancy and have XP. All right. Well, since that conversation died pretty darn quick, I guess we move on to the straw poll. I expected some
job,
little. What's that?
Good job.
Yeah.
We love you, mate. We really do.
Yeah, it's true. It was just a little retro tech news. I thought it would be
Nate,
fun.
I actually still own a box copy of XP.
I found some Windows 7 installed OEM disks. Is that worth anything? No. Although
That's actually pretty funny.
Although I did read that since the throat slashing of Windows 10, there's been an uptick in Windows 7 usage. Anybody see that statistic out there?
Oh, good gosh.
I thought that was fun. I mean,
Don't
it's a little rough. I wonder if React OS could take advantage of any of the Windows 10 ending thing. I don't know. All right. Well, I guess we're going to move on to the straw poll. Eris, I'm going to go ahead and take it away with do you run containers?
First, let's talk about the replies. First reply, the man with the X emoji, making an X with his hands or arms. No. And then somebody else said, as many as I can, whale emoji. And then somebody else said, why stop at 1? And then they listed off Nextcloud ALO, Home
All in
Assistant,
one.
Sterling PDF, Image, Redlib, Speed Test Tracker, Dashy, DuckDNS, Swag, Jellyfin, Google Search, OmniTools, Cortainer, Muse, YTDL_material, and Ladder. And then somebody else said, I do use some Flatpaks, and my TrueNAS server runs Docker. Even I have an AMP server that runs Docker of game servers. So pretty much I do use containers where they are useful. They can be useful when applied sparingly and where they work well. And then somebody else said, I have a bunch of Docker containers for my remote and local server. So I had to answer 10 plus. Somebody else said, I have 15 running on my Proxmox server. And then this one, I wasn't too sure what they meant, but I guess they said, I don't generally run containers, but I will run some under limited circumstances. However, this gives rise to a question of my own. And of course, I'm thinking of this question when I'm not home. There's a utility in the repos to help you add Flatpak apps to GNOME Launcher panel. I've done that, but I don't know how to access to the native distro install of the current version of that program. Specifically, I have Scribus 1.6.3 installed, but I also have 1.7.0 beta installed via Flatpak. And now the 1.63 version is missing. So I don't know what they would use for fixing that. I generally don't install extensions on GNOME, except I use the ones that come with Ubuntu when I do use it, but I don't know what they could do to get the version. As far as the poll, refresh one last time. The number one answer for do you run containers with 27% is yes, between 2 and 5, followed by no with 23%, and 23% also yes, more than 10. 14% yes, the 1, and 14% Tux Penguin. Nobody said between 6 and 10.
So either you're way in or you're a little in, I guess. Or not at all. That's what it looks like to me. So how about
That's what it seems like.
in the crowd here? Who here runs containers?
What
Does
are
anybody have
those? Or never even heard of them.
Everyone runs them. If you run flat packs and snaps, you're running containers.
I don't intentionally run containers, but I do have a couple of flat packs. So I guess I do run container, just I don't seek out running a container.
So that was
Hey, Chad.
my little flex with the list of all the containers I run. Because,
Got a
I
flex
probably,
somewhere?
I probably actively use maybe 3 or 4 of them, but just having them there is pretty cool. Because I just have a box that's running anyway, so why not?
So
The ones I probably use the most are Jellyfin
okay.
and Image and Nextcloud.
Isn't
They're probably
Image
the ones
like
that I would be...
the Google photo replacement or whatever?
Oh, are you not familiar with Image?
I am
Yes.
not.
I need to tell you about this thing. This
Okay, do
thing
tell.
has... It is, you are correct. It is a Google Photos kind of replacement. It's gained a lot of traction. It's funded by Futo, I believe.
Okay. Yeah.
They've
Futo.
been funding a bunch of projects. Yep. And it's pretty cool. So it can just basically categorize all your photos like Google Photos as according to a timeline. But it's also got a few other neat features like AI-based facial search and object search. Although the object search doesn't quite work so well, but facial search is pretty darn good. So when I've got all my family photos in there, it'll recognize family members, and it's it's luckily run. It's got an app that you can put on your phone. It has functionality where you can upload photos directly to your server if you've got that set up right, just like Google Backup with the photos works. It's pretty good.
So how do you manage the backing up your phone to this? Is there like an application like?
It's part of the app. There's a Android app. I presume there's also an iPhone app too, but I don't have an iPhone, so I'm not quite sure. I presume so though.
Okay. Huh. I wonder if that would work better than my sync thing method for getting photos. Probably would. What's Portainer?
Also, Portainer's it's a tool to organize your Dockers and set them up if you want to. It's neat to have just to visualize your containers. And you can various configuration things with it. I tend to not really use it that much because I just use Docker Compose to manage my containers.
In the terminal?
Yeah, because my little server box is headless, so
Okay.
I just SSH into it.
So how would you use, is Portainer an application or is it a document you
So all these
connect into?
All these services are web apps, right? So you
Okay.
you would get a page that will list out all your running containers. You can start and stop them. You can change the configurations and whatnot. I just find that if you're familiar with Docker Compose, you can save your configuration just in the YAML file that it produces or that you make. You have a lot more sort of control over how you run the containers. For me, it's quicker as well, because a lot of the time when you say find a web application online and it says you can self-host it, a lot of them will come either with Docker run instructions or Docker Compose instructions, which you can just copy paste into your Docker Compose YAML and then just reconfigure the way you like. And then it's a simple matter of Docker Compose up -D and you've got a running container, or Docker down if you need to, Docker Compose down if you want to turn it off. It's quick. It's really quick. And reasonably light too. So my list of 16 or so containers that I listed out only uses 4 gigs of RAM. And these aren't small things. Nextcloud is not small. It's especially the all-in-one, which combines, I believe, Collabora, Office. That's not a light thing. That's a pretty good replacement for Google Apps.
Is it the same collab? Wait, is that what they used in the KDE suite some years back, or is it something else?
I am not sure.
Thinking Calligra, was it?
Am I getting Calligra and Collabra confused?
Yeah.
Okay. Collabra. Is it you said it's a container?
Yeah, so you're familiar with Nextcloud,
Yes.
like your file backup thing, right? You
Yep.
can also have like an Office, like a web-based Office document editing spreadsheet thing.
Okay.
Just like Google Apps. Yeah, that's what Collabora is.
So is that the official, like what Nextcloud has built into it, or is it just one of the options?
So there's a version of Nextcloud that is just sort of the files storage. I believe Nextcloud, that version of Nextcloud does have like a note-taking thing, but it's very basic. It does Markdown and text and plain text, but the all-in-one includes the Office sort of document, more full-featured document editing.
Okay.
Yeah, mind you, Nextcloud, the setup for Nextcloud is kind of not for the faint-hearted because you have to do a fair bit with domains and stuff. So you need to know a little bit about networking. The instructions for the all-in-one though are fairly comprehensive. If you follow that, you should be able to get it up.
Is that preferred to doing just standard, like running it basically on the host operating system? Would that be a preferred method?
You mean as opposed to containers?
So like, would I be better served to install Nextcloud on my host operating system of my server or as a container?
I think that's up to you. I think if you're planning on running more than one sort of app on a box, I think containers are way better because you can sort of separate things and stuff doesn't get muddled together in your file system and potentially cause issues. I've seen that happen. Whereas containers, they kind of just are themselves their own little, not quite a full OS, but they have their own little file system. You can then control where your data gets stored, so you can use volumes that you pass into the containers to store your configs, to store your data, or whatever. So there's, once you understand that, it's way more configurable and controllable. Whereas if you install Nextcloud, like it'll splat, your executables in various places. It might put your data somewhere else, your config somewhere else.
Okay. So War Thunder says the all-in-one Nextcloud Docker is somewhat easier to work with than having installed native. So that kind of works along with that. So he says,
they're quicker to stand up also.
Yeah, that makes sense too. He also says he's done both. It's possible to go either way. Just if my Docker breaks, I can nuke and I start over. Now I wonder. I would ask a follow-up question to War Thunder. If you start all over, what about the data you have put in there? Like, if any is that going to be preserved, or is starting over with the Docker image just going to be the control management piece of it, not necessarily the data content? Like, what would you lose in that process? Is what I'd want to know. Because that's my biggest concern.
This is where the volumes I was mentioning actually comes into play, because you can actually specify. So you're familiar with mounting disks, right? On your system, you can mount a folder into your Docker and tell Docker to use that as the config for itself.
Yep,
you can also mount another folder in as the data, so you can say, okay, Nextcloud, this is where all my data is. This is where all my files are. But it's on. You can have that folder anywhere else. So, for example, I actually have that on a separate partition in my box. So that even if I nuke the entire base operating system, that data remains intact.
Okay.
Or if I nuke the Docker, because I've got a Docker Compose file that specifies, where these volumes are and how to pass it into the Docker, it'll always be able to pick it up.
Right. So then, like the database that that Nextcloud uses, would that be one of your data files then, separate?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
You can. So yeah, you can actually specify that. Whether you want to or not, whether you want to rebuild a database, it's up to you as well. Each time you reload it up, but so for example, like with image, image has had a bit of a sort of storied history in terms of it being an app with really rapid development processes. So it often will come with breaking changes. It's gotten a lot better lately because they've just had their official, I think, 1.0 release. So it's become way more stable as each release comes. But in the past, it would used to break a lot. But each time it would break, there would be a few sort of changes you have to make to your Docker Compose because they've changed a few things in terms of how they specify the settings and the environment variables. But each time my database remained intact, so it wouldn't have to rescan all my photos because I stored them separately in a separate volume. Yep.
I may want to talk to you about your Docker Compose file then. I have only played a little bit with Docker Compose files. I understand YAML. It's, got to get your spaces right, I guess. And I did use it I adjusted a Docker Compose file today for my Winboat thing that I'm running, and to make it work better. So anyway, so I understand it. I just sometimes I don't know. It's like I can read it, but I can't really speak it. If that makes any sense. Like I can read Docker Compose files. They make sense to me when I read through them, but I can't really. If I want to change it to do something, that's I think where I really trip up. Or if it's a really big Compose file, then I start getting a little bit less excited about messing with it.
Yeah, it's usually fairly logical once you get used to it. Do some simple ones first. Don't start with Nextcloud. Just don't do that. Do a simple one first, and then move from there.
So Docker versus Podman, how different is the YAML?
I believe that they're compatible. You could use a Docker Compose file in Podman, but I'm not so familiar with Podman. I think Adam's tried it more than I have.
Yeah, they do. They're fairly similar. Like I feel most simple Docker Composes will be translated pretty easily, but there can be some caveats to it, where you'll run into things that should be renamed, or maybe they use different, like for example, passing in GPUs for like machine learning stuff. A little different in Podman versus Docker Compose.
Because doesn't Docker run as root while Podman runs and
Not just that,
or
it's
something
like
like
the facilities they use. Like the Docker daemon does a lot of stuff in the background that Podman doesn't, or doesn't by default. I'm not saying it can't, but there's like if you look at some Docker Composes out there for say like Olama and stuff, they need tweaking to work under Podman because the way the Docker daemon handles hardware resources passed to Docker versus the way Podman passes stuff in. Just little things like that. But generally speaking, if you're running something like Nextcloud or Image or something, I don't really see a whole lot in the Docker Compose file that wouldn't run with Podman Compose.
Okay. It's good to know. Well, cool. Anybody else here really got into the weeds with containers besides Flatpak?
I haven't gotten into weeds, but I use them for deployment of custom applications quite a bit. I use a CI/CD tool called Pommel, and what it does is it'll take like my web application, and it'll build up a Docker container, YAML file, and then it can deploy it to a server that's running Docker, so that works fairly well, actually. So, and you can set stuff like database connections and, like Vince was saying, if you need to mount directories externally from external sources, you can do all that through the deployment tool.
What's the deployment tool you use?
It's called Kamal, Kamal. It's really for like web app development and deploying those.
Well, that's not what I wanted.
You got the actual containers?
No, I got something entirely different when I typed in KAMAL. Interesting. Okay. Well, that's really interesting. That's from the Omarky guy. It's cool. Well, neat.
Wait, what was it again?
Kamal, if you search for Kamal,
KMAL deploy.
if you search for Kamal space deployment, it'll come right up. So.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It does all kinds of cool
that was a
stuff like
DHH thing.
proofing, you know.
You said that was made by DHH.
Yeah. Well, I think so. I see his mug on it.
I'll add that to the list.
Which list?
Yep.
Yeah. Eric, you made it.
Yeah, it threw me off. I was sitting in Zoom for like 15 minutes going, what the heck?
Oh, man.
I didn't realize. Until
Yeah,
I saw that the link was changed. Yeah.
Yeah, this is like the second week of trying out Discord. You know, I can always buy Zoom again, but if I can avoid that rather salty bill.
Zoom is terrible. Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah.
I know some people
This
don't
is
like
the
Discord,
Eric
but I'm
server.
not one of them. What's that?
It's because this is a no Eric server. It's a Simpsons throwback.
Oh, sorry. I stopped watching The Simpsons when I was like 15. And it's still on, which kills me.
The new Treehouse of Horror episode from last week was a treat. Those are always the best episodes of the year for The Simpsons. So if you're a lapsed Simpsons fan, you might check Hulu or elsewhere and check it out. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
The only other one I would try is I like Jitsi, but I don't know, if you can rely on the publicly available one or if you have to host it yourself. But I actually use it with customers and stuff, and they're consistently pleased with how easy it is to use compared to Zoom and other stuff. So Jitsi's gotten pretty darn good these days.
That Jitsi has?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It might be worth a try too. Again, I don't know. What server do you use for Jitsi?
Well, there's a publicly available one. I think it's jitsi.org. And I've used it with people for, small groups of people, and it seems to be fine. There's probably some limit, but, I haven't seen any, and they don't seem to care if you're using it for streaming. Like streaming to a service like YouTube or whatever. So I know if you run it yourself, it does require some pretty decent bandwidth. So that's the only really disadvantage. Yeah, exactly. So you'd almost have to host it somewhere like a VPS or something like that, so that you'd have enough bandwidth and also have something that's publicly accessible. But right. It's pretty decent. I mean, it gives you enough control. I don't know about layout and stuff, if that's a problem.
I'm not real picky on layout, such things. I mean, there's a lot of different solutions out there. Like StreamYard's another interesting solution I've seen people use. There's another one. I can't remember what it is offhand, but I'll figure it out here in just a hot second.
Yeah, StreamYard's decent, but it's expensive. That's been my
Talk
to get
Studio.
to have. Yeah. Yeah, I think if you were making money off of streaming, those are decent solutions. But if you're just doing something like this, it's just... Plus, it's kind of overkill. Production value matters, I know, to a lot of people. And this isn't, meant to be a backhanded compliment. But, when you're just trying to have a stable platform, that works well and you don't really care about Flash, a lot of times it's tough to just find something basic because they all want to like compete on features and stuff. And it's like, well, I'll never use any of this, so I can't justify paying for it.
Right. Yeah, I think I don't foresee production quality of Linux Saloon going dramatically up.
Well, it doesn't need to. I mean, the point
Yeah.
being that it's accessible. Quite frankly, I honestly think you'll get more people, which I think you've already, I think you already do have maybe a couple more. Maybe not, but Discord's the type of thing that I think you could get a lot more drive-by people that show an interest in because it's just so easy to use comparatively. Because Zoom is, I don't know, especially on Linux, Zoom could be a real annoying thing. So,
Yeah, I don't know.
one man's opinion.
Aris says you can try Telegram.
For multiple people?
I don't know. He needs to explain this.
It should work. I don't know if we could. Do we get video? I haven't tested it with video. I know you can do it with multiple people.
Yeah, but even just the basic voice calls aren't always great. So I don't know if I would trust. But maybe it's just me. I don't know.
It's fine for in a pinch,
Yeah.
like an ad hoc thing, but probably not. At least I know Discord's at least built for this sort of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, the screen share, I mean, this has a lot of nice tools in it. It really does. So, I mean, say what you will. I know Discord's one of those examples of software that just keeps adding more features. Like, how many more things can you possibly add on one platform?
And then there's that.
There is that too. Yep. Soundboards. There's all kind of fun things.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. All right. Well, it is a news flight night, so may as well get on into the news, since I think we've kind of beaten the containers thing into, submission. And so I thought I'd get some topics here that were interesting. The first one being, did anybody hear about the Xubuntu website Hijack, where they're serving malicious malware downloads? Anybody see that one? No. All right, from
I heard about it.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah, I was gonna say I heard about it, but I didn't know how long it lasted or what they did to fix it. I know it was like a WordPress site was out of date. Something about their hosting wouldn't let them update it properly or something. I don't know.
Well, in short, we got it fixed in a couple days. But the official, I'll just read the article here. So the official Xubuntu website was compromised over the weekend. That's 18-19 October. Briefly serving up Windows malware to users trying to download the distro. Users who visited the Xubuntu website over the weekend to download the official torrent of the XFCE toting Ubuntu flavor instead got an Ubuntu safe download.zip. I don't know, like when I see safe download, that's an immediate red flag for me. Oh, it's a safe link. So when the rogue zip file was extracted, it contained a .exe runtime and a terms of service text file. The Xubuntu team took down the affected download page as soon as they were informed. There's no infection that direct Xubuntu ISO download or checksums were modified, altered, replaced, or otherwise interfered with. The malicious download link appears to have been live for a day or two at most. Wayback Machine snapshots from 11 October point to the torrent file, but the 8 October snapshot offers malicious zip instead. So is anyone affected? They say, I doubt anyone familiar with Linux would have been fooled by this. A Windows executable and the inclusion of a sloppy worded terms of service are both redder than red flags, or at risk given, nor at risk given the IC payload was designed for Windows, or the ICI payload, I'm sorry. But there's a chance that less tech illiterate users running Windows could have been affected by this. So indeed, exploiting that familiarity will have been the intention, given the increasing interest in Linux distributions right now, thanks to Microsoft and the end of Windows 10 support. some folks don't want to throw away their perfectly usable PCs at the behest of Microsoft. Per some sleuthing on Reddit, the exe package is the dodgy zip was found to contain malware made for Windows, which appears to be aimed at intercepting links for cryptocurrency accounts, of course, that were copied to the clipboard. So how did this happen? The torrent download links in the entire download page were disabled as soon as the Xubuntu team were made aware of something untoward had happened. Team member Elizabeth Krumbach Joseph has more info to follow that you can read on the Xubuntu subreddit. So they're beholden to our hosting environment for upgrades, and it looked like there's a bit of a slip up there, but it's being worked on. So yeah, you're right, Eric. Maybe it just wasn't being done. The WordPress core is as secure as everything else. Broadly, the vast majority of WordPress security issues have been from vulnerabilities exploited in third-party plugins and themes that people add to their websites. So there's some commercial themes that have been found to have a flaw. The attackers used to upload zips with backdoors and PHP files, and then add rogue admin users to modify the site. So they're not saying that's what happened there, but that's just underscores the point. So is anything else affected? To be clear, only the Ubuntu website torrent download link was affected. No other flavors, Ubuntu infrastructure, or other types of downloads were. Ubuntu's official flavor make use of canonical owned and protected infrastructure for image building and foundational needs, but hosting, design, and security of each individual website is down to each flavor development team. So, did anybody here download the malicious file?
Didn't get a chance to. They already took care of it.
I missed it.
I guess it would only matter if you were on Windows and only for that short window of time. So,
or technically, if you had like Wine installed.
Yeah, I was gonna say
try opening that.
Yeah,
well, it's going to use your browser agent to detect which file to download, I would guess, or if it's just the same ISO.
I think that the torrent would be given to anybody.
Okay, it was only a torrent.
Well, the torrent pointed to a malicious file instead.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know how many people even use torrents anymore, honestly.
I use it all the time.
Okay, 1.
The quickest way.
2.
Yeah, I mean, the reason I ask is I will try to use a torrent, and often, like, there just aren't a lot of peers. So it just seems like it's easier in a lot of cases, especially with the mirrors that are available for most major projects. Like, unless you want to, host and have uploaded some of the torrent back. Like, if you're being a good torrent user, and you're supposed to allow, what is it, like 2 times?
Ideally, at least once, so you give back
what you took. Okay.
But you would hopefully give 2 at least. The problem with torrents that I found is not using them, but if I try uploading it, like I could be like a month or something, and I'm not gonna get 1.0 back usually. Because usually when I'm downloading it, I'm not downloading it as soon as it comes out. I'm using it later on, and nobody's downloading at the same time.
Not as much traffic, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for a long time, years ago, like when DistroWatch started adding they had their own sort of torrents going, and some other major Linux sites had them. It was great because, it was just a better option, faster option than on a slower network connection. I think it was just a better option. Or maybe the mirrors just weren't as good. I think bandwidth in general used to just be more expensive, and so when a company would pay, or when somebody would pay for a T1 or whatever type of connection, they were like, I'm not just going to give away bandwidth.
I think a lot of those download files are on CDNs now, which are just as fast as a torrent anyway.
Yeah.
I usually use it because it maximizes my connection, and when I try to download it directly from something, it's going to be usually slower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, makes sense.
The most aggressively fast delivery network I've seen so far is Steam. So if you switch to your local, connection or your local server or whatever, yeah, it's kind of amazing how fast some of that stuff downloads.
I like using aggressively fast, not just fast, but
It
aggressively
is.
fast.
It's to where it's using a lot of your CPU to download because it's literally coming that fast. Like, yeah, it's good stuff.
Well, I mean, they kind of have to, considering the size of your downloads are for a lot of AAA titles. That's a lot of ones and zeros.
Well, yeah, the discs don't even really have
hundreds of gigs.
Yeah.
Yep. Fills up a Steam Deck real quick. So, all right. Well, Sean isn't on tonight, but he's kind of like the resident Nix guy. So, oh well. So the path has been cleared for Nix Package Manager on Fedora with /Nix approved. Anybody here use Nix for anything? I don't hear the good folks at
I have.
you have?
I don't now.
No, like the good folks at Jupiter Broadcasting, they talk about Nix quite a bit. So there's been work to get the Nix functional package manager available on Fedora Linux for those wanting to leverage its available packages or features like supporting side-by-side packages for different versions, atomic upgrades, rollbacks, non-root user for installing software, and other features. One of the hurdles, though, is that the Nix package manager relies by default on the /Nix directory, which goes against Fedora's default directory requirements. Now, though, the Fedora Engineers and Steering Committee, the FESCO, has granted permission for using the /Nix hierarchy. In the past 2 months, there's been a review request pending for the Nix functional package manager on Fedora, but Nix uses the /Nix directory by default for its packaging, store, local state, etc. Overriding this default can lead to pre-built binaries for Nix not working. Thus, the matter of Fedora Nix packaging needed to use this /Nix directory was tossed into the purview of Fedora engineers to evaluate. The exception request has been under discussion the past month. Some were initially against this since 9 years ago. There was work on snaps for Fedora using the /snap directory was previously blocked by Fedora. But today, Fedora has made the exception for Nix being granted. So the path is now clear for Nix package management support on Fedora once the review request hopefully will be wrapped up and approved. So I was doing a little, I hear about Nix. I hadn't really dug into Nix, so I'm not really a Nix
aficionado.
Yes, at all. I did find out you can, because I want to see, how does it relate to me? And so, of course, what did I look up? Nix in relation to OpenSUSE. And so there's a snap package on OpenSUSE you can install to then run Nix packages, which seems kind of funny thinking about it in that manner. But so is Nix, it's a distribution, but it's also
It's the package manager first, and
Okay.
then it's a distribution.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you can run Nix packages as well
On
as
Mac.
Flatpak.
On Linux. I don't know if you can run it on Windows. I think so.
BSD? I didn't look that up.
I don't know. Ugh.
Oh, they have Nix BSD.
And usually the big promise of the distro is that you can have a config file, you have all your packages, and you have the one file that you can carry from any computer, and then everything you had in the other computer will be duplicated in the other computer. You don't have to think about what packages you had, what were the settings. It's all going to be in that one file. And that's the big promise.
Gotcha. So War Thunder says, Nix is too complicated for me, but I know some people who like it. And Sean is one of those people. He says, I like the reproducibility of the system. So that's something. It says it can be as simple or as complicated as you want to make it, just like just about everything else. That makes sense. I guess I don't know what the reproducibility
So
is the benefit.
So once you configure your config file, you don't have to think about setting it up again. It's done.
Okay.
It's kind of like the window manager. You know how you have all your settings in there, your shortcuts, like like the way you want your key combinations and everything.
Hmm.
Um, you have that, but for the whole system. And the problem there, of course, is it's quite a while, quite a bit of information you got to get to, understanding the context and everything, or you got to copy somebody else's and make it your own. But once you get to that point, I mean, if you have that file backed up, you just gotta reload it and install NixOS, and it does everything supposedly.
Gotcha. Okay. And that's the key feature, I guess, of sorts. That's the unique
That's
selling
one of the
feature of Nix.
features.
Okay.
Also, they try to make their packages reproducible. It's immutable in some ways. Once you change the settings and you reload, it's immutable there. I think that's how that works. Um, and they try to make their packages reproducible, which is a big problem with a lot of packages that you don't even really know how it's made. Like Debian has a big like goal of making all their packages reproducible,
Hmm.
so that you know exactly what's in the package. That there's no settings that are not documented, so everything's out in the clear and transparent.
Gotcha. So it seems like because there are all scripts or whatever, it would work that way by default. Then I would think would that be a correct statement, or am I missing something?
I think so.
Okay.
So one of the things about the reproducibility in Nix and other more reproducible systems is the idea of lock files, or like basically pinning things to a specific commit ID in a repo, so that, for example, if you were to run a script that gets you a package from GitHub, for example, you could specify a release, and you specify that specific version as a release that you're pulling. And what Nix and other reproducible things are doing is basically getting like a commit hash for what they pull. So when you specifically make your config and you push your Nix store or whatever, it tries to lock you to those specific versions, so that whenever you go to rebuild it, that specific version, and not just version, but like commit hash, right? That's specifically where you're pulling the data from, so that every time you pull it, you're pulling exactly the same data, whereas like a script doesn't necessarily check for that unless you build that into it. And so it's more than just like automating the process the same way. It's also like making sure that the actual data you're pulling from and building from is the identical data, because you're pulling from that specific hash from the repo.
Okay. Fascinating. So you said you don't run Nix anymore, though, Adam, or you were running it and now you're not?
No. It was kind of a mess.
Oh. In what way?
So Nix is great if you're willing to just completely jump whole hog, and Nix OS is a great experience for that. However, if you run Nix as a package manager, it can start to get a little messy. Or if you use something like Nix Darwin on like a Mac OS machine along with Home Manager and stuff, it can kind of start to not really play well. But if you're like on something like Nix OS that's like Nix from the ground up, it's a great experience. It's the times I've had to use the Nix package manager outside of Nix OS that it kind of becomes a bit of a mess pretty quickly.
Okay.
Because the rest of the system doesn't really expect those to be that way. And so certain applications start to, like, you can run into issues where they try to write to a certain part, and like the Nix store is by itself, read only, right? And so certain things expect to write to certain folders and certain other things, and they can't. Or maybe like auto updaters that might be built into certain applications start to constantly bother you with errors and warnings because it can't actually update the binary because it's being controlled by Nix, not by your not by your system package manager or by its own binary. You run into these other issues, but again, if you're running Nix OS like from the ground up, I think it's a fine experience.
Okay. Yeah, it's on my bucket list of things to try out, Nix. As well as something else I found out about.
I'm also not above realizing that might be a skill issue, just so you know.
Well, if we're talking about skill issues, then I'm in trouble. So.
In my case, like I don't, maybe I just missed something and didn't put enough effort in, but
Yeah, that's probably my problem with Arch. Skills issue. Well, cool. So I guess it'll be interesting to see if other distributions adopt this /Nix approach as well, or how many have. I don't know. I didn't look that up.
It's because when Snap was going to be coming to Fedora, Fedora did not want them to have their own top level directory. And I think if you install Snap now, they make it so it goes under var.
Okay.
But they did allow Nix to go on the top level directory.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder if there's anybody salty about that.
you said they did allow it on Nix?
Yeah, they're going to allow it for Nix.
They will.
Looks like.
They approved it.
That's not surprising. Nix doesn't really follow the FHS anyway. Like Nix kind of does its own thing, so at that point, why not just throw a /snap in there or whatever?
Yeah.
Because I remember when I installed Snap on Fedora, I'm like, where are the packages? Like, I was trying to find them, and then I finally figured out that it was on the bar.
On Fedora? Or
Yeah,
else?
yeah, on Fedora. You can't install it in the immutables. It won't work.
Okay. So I wonder how the mutables do it then, or can they not? Because I know there's talk about doing it with micro.
No, I'm talking about Snap still. Talking about
Oh,
Snap.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if Nix is gonna work with the immutables. I don't know about that. Who knows? Probably not, because I don't think they're gonna allow you to have a direct. It would have to be configured ahead of time, I guess, because it's gonna be probably a pain to do it on like one of the Fedora official immutables. I'm guessing.
Yeah, I guess they made an allowance at it for the at the onset. It seems like that would be all you need to do. I would think. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. All right. Well, next on the list, unless somebody has anything else they wanted to contribute toward that. If not, okay. I'll take the time here. Okay. So the FSF has announced the LibrePhone project. Has anybody heard about this? So
yeah, I heard about this the other day.
Yeah. So I'll read part of the article, then I'll just kind of, it's actually very short. So the Free Software Foundation today announced, today being the 14th of October, that the LibrePhone project, with the goal of creating a fully free software OS for mobile devices and to reverse engineer obstacles where necessary. The FSF describes the new LibrePhone project as a phone operating system, a phone operating system that has been, I'm sorry. Actually, the part is missing here on the let's see. No, something's weird going on here. Anyway, so the phone operating system has been on the FSF high priority project since at least 2017, albeit with limited success and activity. And so I kind of clicked through and did some digging on this project. Listened to like just part, a little over halfway of the podcast of some audio recording anyway of talking about this LibrePhone project. So in a nutshell, what their initial move is not necessarily to build like a new Graphene or Android a fork or anything like that. It's trying to reverse engineer the blobs that a lot of these OSs use so that you can then quite literally put anything you want on the phones without relying on the interfacing with a blob that you don't know what it's doing. So I thought that was extremely interesting. It sounds like a lot of work because there's a lot of blobs out there. I'm sure there's a lot of code that's the same from device to device. But because the phone, the mobile, is essentially most users use that for their computing device today. And I personally think a truly free phone is necessary to prevent the abuse of mobile corporations to its consumers. And I think building a new, so I think the concentration on reverse engineering these blobs is probably good, but like it seems like that's going to be one of those fights you can never really win, because there's always going to be new phones, new chips, new blobs, unless I'm missing something here. I don't know. What do you think?
I agree with that.
Yeah.
It's always going to be 5 years behind.
Well, at this point, a 5-year-old phone is really not too bad. You know, like, I mean, I don't know. Does anybody here care if they have top line phone?
A 5-year-old good phone isn't bad, but you can buy a brand new phone depending on what you get, and it's not good.
Right. Agreed.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Daniel says, I always want one of the Ubuntu phone to happen. Was not so. Although the UBI ports is still a thing. And the last time I checked in with that was Matt from Linux Out Loud. He had a one of those phones, or he had a phone with Ubuntu Touch on it, and just took forever for the GPS to be able to find satellites. And it was real painful for using it for navigation. So, yeah. And so,
You had a Pine phone or a LibrePhone?
It was something else. It wasn't. I don't think it was something else. Maybe it was a Pine phone. I don't recall. But Android says I will stick with Android phones, and I have for 8 years now. It still works. $300. So is your phone 8 years old? Is that it? Pretty cool if it is. I think the longest I had a phone go for was like 5 years before it just kind of sort of. Well, I was babying it along because it was really terrible. So Sean says, running a Pixel 3a, still with EOS as my daily driver. Then are you happy with it? That's what I'd like to know. So, anyway, does anybody here, like, I used to be pretty big into Android phones early on, and then I kind of lost interest in them as it became more complicated to root and put my own ROMs on it. Does anybody else here kind of follow that same path, or like I almost don't care about phones so much anymore. I kind of do, but I kind of don't. I don't know. Jinda, what about you? Are you a phone connoisseur? Do you care?
No, I have a basically a burner phone. I never turn it on. It's outgoing calls only. It's the cheapest pile of junk you've ever seen.
I got you.
Yeah, I want nothing to do with those things. I find the operating system annoying, and people looking for you only want something anyway.
It's true. It's a great platform to play free cell when you're like sitting on a bench waiting, though, for somebody.
Oh, I got a little handheld gaming system for that.
Oh. A Game Boy? Do you have a Game Boy?
No, I got an Ambernick RG35 Plus. Plays all the way up to PlayStation 1, PSP,
oh, nice.
Nintendo. Yeah.
I could lose a lot of time with that.
Yeah, I do. Came in handy over the weekend, actually.
So Sean says, EOS is awesome in my book. Love it. Fun fact, one of the lead guys in EOS was also as Gail Duvall, who started Mandrake Linux way back when. I thought that was a fun fact. So, Mandrake is still
Mandrake
with us,
was awesome.
just in a different form.
Mandrake was awesome.
Yep. Until he left Mandrake was awesome, I think.
Yeah.
EOS is what comes with Fairphone, and you can get the latest Fairphone in the US now through Murena.com.
Really? Is that
Yep.
5 or 6 now?
I think it's 6.
Yeah, Gen 6 Marina. Yeah, look at that. Looks like a phone. I don't know I want to spend $900 on a phone though.
It's made so that you can replace pretty much everything,
Yeah.
and including the battery, and they give you, I think, 5 years warranty or something. Let me see. They give you 5 years warranty.
Wow.
Yeah.
With the Qualcomm Snapdragon 7S Gen 3, that means nothing to me.
Yeah.
205 gigahertz. 256
Oh, and
gigabytes
it
of
has
storage.
it has an SD card, which most phones don't have now.
Yeah, up to 2 terabytes of storage. That's pretty cool. 1116 by 2484 resolution. 29 aspect ratio.
No headphone jack though. I don't think. I don't know if there's a phone that still has that.
Yeah. Neither of my phones have a headphone jack, and that makes me sad. Although, if I'm honest, I can't say I've used it in a while. On my computer, yes, but not on my phone.
I use it
Just
all the time.
things. Oh, do you? Like headphones, or what do you use it for?
I would use it for with the car, but
Okay.
just so I can put the auxiliary cable. But I have to use the dongle. Doesn't have it.
The phone I have has one. I don't think I've ever used it.
The headphone jack.
Yeah. I've had this phone for about a year and a half, and I don't think I've ever used it.
I used it on my old phone, but I had to modify the case to get the connector in there. I had to drill out the hole a little bit bigger so I get the plug in there. And I don't even have a phone that's got one now. Oh well. But I use the one on my laptop here somewhat frequently, believe it or not. So anyway. All right. Well, I'm hoping this is successful. It'd be nice to see a little more software freedom in the phone world for sure. I don't know that it's ever actually really going to happen, but I'd still like to see it. Don't want to be a negative Nancy, but it's been a lot of talk for a lot of years. All right, so another news story. So your passwords don't need so many fiddly characters, the NIST says. I thought this was interesting. I'm going to just get right to the meat of it. So in short, the NIST has included this updated guideline that password complexity, special characters, and numbers are out. Password length is in, as it has been for years. Regularly scheduled password resets are out, which that surprised me. Maybe that's what the NSA wants. Regular scheduled password resets are out. Password resets used strictly in response to security breaches are in. Basic security questions and hints for password recovery are out. Password recovery links and authentication codes are in. The rest of the article, who cares? But does anybody here, what do you think of those change guidelines?
I'd like to submit that to my company that I work for and see if it ever changes.
So I am going to submit this to the cybersecurity company that I work with for my company. And personally, I kind of like using the special characters because then when I do my password change, I'm just changing a few things,
That's what I do. Yeah. That's probably what most people
That's
do.
the big problem with expiring passwords. People have some numbering scheme that totally negates the whole purpose of changing the passwords.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you know one password, you knew them all because you just have to change one little thing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
for
what
me,
I
it's
thought.
more than that, but like I have
Yeah,
a core piece of the password, and then I have variations on that.
Plus, another
Right.
problem is that there's more likely than people are going to forget their password and they have to recover the password, and it's just a lot of trouble for not a lot of gain.
Right. And every time you recover a password, you're actually putting your password at risk.
What do you think about password phrases? They end up being pretty long.
That's typically what I use. I guess they're passphrases. Yeah.
I've
That's
just
what
recently,
the article advocates. The article says that length is way more important than if you use a lot of special characters.
I've just recently started using password phrases, and I think I like it. It can be a lot longer and still easy to remember.
And then also, you can make them funny too.
Yeah.
So I use Bitwarden to generate passwords a lot, and then
Yeah, me too.
So I like to use those because I think sometimes they can have rather comical combinations. So
I'm going to submit that to my company that I work for, and if anything comes of it, I'll let y'all know. I doubt it. I highly doubt it.
Well, you got the link, right?
Yeah. It's
Okay,
the
cool.
one Harris just shared, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
On the Discord.
I don't have the link, but there was an article or some kind of like publication, probably a PDF that I think the NSA made, and it was like the best possible like recommendations for everything, and they covered this in Security Now, and they were just amazed how clear everything was and how nonsensical the recommendations were. I forgot exactly what the file was. I would have to look it up for next time, I guess.
I do sort of feel like when things got really crazy, that these decisions were made like in a committee of people who didn't really know anything about security. You know,
I think it's a lot of. I heard from somebody this is a good practice, so we're gonna do it because I heard other people are doing it too, kind of thing.
right? Yeah, exactly. So I remember all the craziness. It's probably about 10 years ago ish. I think when maybe a little longer, when the password requirements just started getting really ludicrous, with all the special characters, uppercase, lowercase, at least one uppercase, at least one lowercase. So many numbers and so many symbols.
And then they go, "Oh, you didn't put a number." So of course you put a number at the end because they're telling you needed the number.
Yeah. 1, 2. Anyway, so but I do like my fiddly characters. I have like combinations of fiddly characters I do for passwords, and they're kind of I don't actually know what they are. I just know my fingers know where they are. Does that make any sense? Like I have anyway. I probably should do that, just in case.
Yeah, you shouldn't show the camera what you're doing.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Well, I thought it was a fun article, so you can read that. I just want to discuss that piece of it. All right. So another article, the GrapheneOS. Does anybody here run GrapheneOS or has tried to run GrapheneOS? Well, they've kind of sort of been locked to Pixel phones, but it looks like they're ready to break free from Pixel phones, and they may never look back. Which I'm a little mixed on this, just in general. So the Graphene says a major Android OEM partnership will bring the OS to Snapdragon powered flagship. So the TLDRs, the maker of the GrapheneOS, have confirmed they are partnering with major Android OEM to bring the privacy-focused Android fork to Snapdragon-powered smartphones. Didn't say who that OEM was. So the project has confirmed it's bringing support for Pixel 10, but it's unsure whether support will continue for Pixel 11. GrapheneOS didn't reveal the name of its new provider, but said those devices will be priced in the same range as Pixels. So GrapheneOS is a popular privacy-focused Android fork known for its exclusive support of Google Pixel phones. It's about to cast a much wider net. The project has confirmed it's working with major Android smartphone manufacturer to bring its secure operating system to future flagship phones, as first spotted by PlukaWeb or PunkaWeb. I don't know. Piunika. Punika? Okay. Reading is fundamental. So until now, GrapheneOS has been available only on Pixel phones, making Google's flagship popular among privacy enthusiasts, journalists, and as a Spanish police report suggested earlier this year, even organized crime groups in Catalonia. But the Pixel exclusivity may end 2026 or 2027. And so the article goes on quite a bit, but so the idea of GrapheneOS, basically contracting with an OEM to build a phone specific for this OS, how do you feel about that? Here's my two school of thoughts. One, I like the idea that they're not going to be tied to the Google phone necessarily, but branching away from that. But I also kind of like the idea of being able to repurpose a Google phone to be a more privacy-focused phone. So that's kind of where I'm back and forth on that. Does anybody here have an opinion on what the this change from Graphene?
I think the article says it, but their hand was also forced by Google because they're not going to be as open as they were with the Pixels.
Oh.
So they won't be able to use the hardware like they used to easily without, like, I guess, like reverse engineering the system or something. Because it was the most open platform, and that's why everybody supported it.
Okay. Yeah.
It feels a lot like the days of doing things with phones, like ROMs and stuff. It just kind of feels like that's mostly over. I know there are some devices that support some iterations of Ubuntu Touch and, Plasma Touch, and like there are some small niche projects, but until they can have access to the radios and have hardware that is truly open, that they're not just relying on either reverse engineering or, I don't know, cracking, rooting, you know what I mean? Like it's so adversarial at this point that, and it also makes it a fragile, unreliable situation where at any second something could change that then essentially makes it impossible to use the device the way you had anticipated or had been previously using it. And so cell phones have become so important, so completely ingrained in society. And I would hazard to guess at this point, I don't know what the statistics are, but I would guess that more people than not own a smartphone now. And it's to the point where a lot of the major things you do in your life in terms of like financial things, medical things, property, on and on and on, taxes, it comes to rely on a device, and that sort of, I'm not sure what the best way to describe it. What is it, the authenticating between, I guess, having the hardware locked, having the bootloader locked, having the version of the, operating system be verified now with the signing of the packages. It's kind of end to end at this point, and I think by design, it affords more trust, at least an apparent sense of trust and security. So yeah, like when I hear about these projects, I think, good on them, and hopefully something comes of it. I would still love to see something that was more official and more well supported, but at this point, every time I hear something like this, it just always, there's so many caveats, and I don't know, doesn't seem practical.
Well, the Graphene is very privacy focused. So here's why I'm a little bit doubtful that phones do provide a security more so than other devices. So I've read these stories, so I don't know how true this is, but it's not been in isolation. So it's been multiple stories of where journalists who go into countries with their phones and not even accessing anything, just by being on the network in a, let's say, a state that has less than desirable government, that they'll put some sort of software on the phone through the network that allows like access to the phone to some degree. And this has been, at least I know with iPhones, I can't speak for Android necessarily, but where the phones are compromised and they go dead very quickly after they make a trip to a specific foreign country, and then because the phones are compromised just by being on the carrier there in that country. So it seems like there's with these blobs, it seems like there's probably some backdoors that bad actors probably have the exploits to, and that's more my concern than anything else.
Yeah, I guess my point being though that the modern world, at least Western society, not even necessarily Western society, like there's more people with phones than there are computers, right? So I guess my point being that, you know, we've sort of settled on these two operating systems, and you know, the business community and governments have looked at them as being, I mean, you're right. I don't even know if it's necessarily that they're more trustworthy. It's just that they're more widespread, right? There's more people trying to do things on their phones than sitting down with a computer to do them. And
Think
I guess
you can get
there's
it
that.
inside mine?
What was that, Adam?
Think you can get it inside mine?
Oh, he's talking about golf. Oh, or phones. I don't know. Or he's being naughty. Yeah, I think, and this is just me wearing a tinfoil hat, but I kind of feel like there's that the restriction against open sourcing some of these radios and such is not necessarily for FCC compliance, but more for control. I feel like that phones are more they want to be able to control the device, and right now they can. I think it's only a matter of time before something breaks there, but for now it seems pretty dreary.
Well, I always
for me, phones have always had a big, giant vulnerability, and that to me they feel like servers. The fact that they all take messaging and like all these ways of you to receive some kind of payload, it always seems like a server. It doesn't seem like a desktop to me, and because of that, it always seems more vulnerable in the long run.
Yeah, well, it's always on too, unless you shut it off. But how many of us use our phones as alarms?
Yeah, well, alarms, timers. Yeah, I mean, GPS. No, I mean, this is something that I always say to a non-technical person who doesn't quite understand how, like, all of those radios and functions and like things that a phone does, and the unbelievable gift that it is to surveillance. You know, that if someone had told you 50 years ago that you're going to have this little device that's going to know where you are on the planet's surface within a, 1 meter deviation, and be able to identify, you specifically, who you're talking to, who your contacts are, where you buy things, what you've bought, I mean, literally everything about your life, down to some very personal things. I think most people would have said, there's no way in hell that would work. I mean, nobody would ever carry that. And, now here we are. And I feel like any people that had resistance to it at first, where it was either thought of as a fad or something that was unnecessary, again, going back to that, like, societal acceptance of it, Because I think that's another big thing. I remember when I first had a smartphone, if I tried to use it anywhere, like around my family or in public or somewhere, it would just be considered rude. And now, like, it doesn't matter where you are. Like, people just sit on their phones. We were just at dinner, and the entire end of this one group of like 20 people, big table, was all sitting and watching football on their phone. It's just like, like there just is no separation anymore. Like, there's just this continuous connection. And it's funny to me that we've kind of stalled on the smartphone. Like, we haven't really gone much further than that. I mean, people have tried glasses, and smartwatches are kind of smart.
Rings. You got the mood ring now. The modern day mood ring.
Again, more for fitness kind of stuff, that kind of stuff. But like, yeah, I'm surprised that smartphones have sort of been where we've stalled for now. But I can't imagine we're gonna go backward. Although it is interesting to me. I have a 35-year-old cousin who I was just talking to, where he was like, I spent a long time, and it was difficult with my friends, but I was able to finally get off of social media. He was like, I just realized how much of my day that I just sit and waste time. And he was like, it was just ridiculous. Like, what am I doing? I'm not getting anything out of this. And, for him to say that, and I have some younger people I know that are sort of that same boat, where it's like, why do we do this to ourselves?
Two of my 4 children, they are 29 and 28, both boys, are not on any social media. They were on Facebook. They were on anything you could name, and within the last couple of years, they've both shunned it and said, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I've noticed actually a lot of kids, like my 2 older kids, they're not on their phones much at all. Like, when they go with their friends, they leave their phones at home or in the car when I drop them off. And I'm like, I'd like to be able to contact you. And like, yeah, but I might lose the phone. I don't really want to keep it. I don't use it. And so it seems really, I like to have my phone with me just in case, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And then let's not talk about the intentional tracking of Life 360.
Yeah. Oh, well, my family and I, we all have tracking on just so we know where we are.
Yeah,
and
mine too. And I resisted that for as long as I could.
Yeah.
And I just gave up.
Yeah.
Google knows where I'm at. My family might as well too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
you're just passing it forward a little bit further than it already is. Yeah, exactly.
I'm just making it easier on them to know where Google's telling them where I'm at.
Yeah. That's it. And in a perfect world, of course, you could say, well, privacy controls. And I think, had we done a better job of understanding what impact technology would have on our lives, that there would have been more stringent controls on privacy, and we could have had it that way. We could have, if it had been legislated properly and mandated and stuff like that. But the environment wasn't such that conducive to that, and so we had the Wild West, and like we still kind of do in a lot of ways, where companies have sway to do pretty amazing things, like to think that they consider social media an experiment in many ways.
Yeah.
Right? They just kind of said, well, we didn't know what was going to happen, so we just sort of did it. And the dangers of how that. Because I guess like anything, it's good and bad, and I think a lot of people would consider social media and technology that allows people to connect as a overall positive thing, and just the loudest people, unfortunately, make it seem worse than it is potentially. I don't know. I'm pretty down on it myself because I just don't get it. Like Blue Sky. Someone sent me an invite. I looked at it 3 times and I was like, what do I care about this? Threads. I looked at it once. I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, sit here and,
Are you on the IG?
I do look at that, but I only care about the people that I follow, and I actually appreciate that for the most part. It actually shows me the people I follow before it starts showing me other crap. So out of like, compared to like something like Facebook, which just refuses to show me anything that I want to see, and is just utter garbage, you know. I literally have to search for people who have told me, "Oh, I put something on Facebook. Did you see it?" And I'm like, "No, of course I didn't." I had to go look for it and find it.
Yeah,
Yes.
I get that same thing. People say, have you checked this on Facebook? I'm like, no. I mean, basically on Facebook, I check a Commodore 64 128 users group, some Lego stuff, and that's really about it. I kind of miss Google Plus. Anybody here miss Google Plus? Or was that just me? Am I the
I
only
do.
one?
Yes,
No,
absolutely.
Yeah.
I liked
Yeah.
Google Plus.
Plus was great.
Yeah, I
Yep.
felt like that was like a nice place for nerds to hang out. And then,
I thought Google Plus was so much better than Facebook, and I tried to get my people to go there, and nobody was interested.
yeah. Yep.
Nope. That's that. You know, wherever the eyeballs are, you know, you have critical mass of people being on one platform, and I mean, look how much Facebook has changed. You know, the last 10, 15 years, where it was like the cool place to be, and now like young people are like, Facebook?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's just where people go to yell at the clouds, I suppose. It seems like that. Like if I go in the feed, it's like, wow, you know, I really like this person before I saw their social media. Now I kind of don't like this person anymore.
Well, and see, that's one of the positive things, I think.
No,
because you
it's
can
not.
actually, if people are willing to show you that they're weird and believe in crazy things, it's like, oh, dodge the bullet there.
No, I can deal with weird. Like weird is fine. I mean, I can't throw a rock in this glass house when it comes to weird, right? But it's like when they're like really just vile human beings. Like I wish I did not think of you as this. Like I always had a really positive. Why would you put that out there? It's like putting a sign in front of your house that says, "Yeah." I don't want to say that, but anyway.
No, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I mean, where part of being, I don't know, like, but then again, I also think like for Instagram and things like, it's like to some people it didn't happen or it doesn't exist unless it's posted somewhere, right? Like, it wasn't somehow as fulfilling if they couldn't get some credibility out of it, which is just wild to think. Like you don't see life as a series of experiences and things that enrich you personally just by yourself. Like you don't need any other kind of input, or you know, or at least maybe just the input from the loved ones or people around you. Like that's not enough, right? You've now made it so that you can't actually enjoy something or consider it worthwhile without having it be broadcast to the entire world, to people you don't even know or care about. You know, like I said, though, social media doesn't work on me. I have yet to understand Twitter. I just don't get it. I don't. And I know people who live and die by that, who all day long, nothing more is more important than what some random person posted on X. You know?
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I don't understand Twitter.
So my favorite part about Twitter is there's this guy who does this Commodore 64 OS. He's been working on for some time now. I've purchased it.
I'm seeing a pattern develop here. But Facebook, Commodore Group, Twitter.
Oh yeah, it's all like it's like retro technology stuff. If someone is like throwing their hot political takes, I block them. So I just want to like, you know, I realize the world is kind of a cruddy place. It has been. It's always been, really. And social media allows us to see how cruddy of a place it can be. But like, I kind of want to live in this happy technology bubble thing that, you know, like I'm not going to go and make myself angry on the internet. I'm going to go on the internet to follow something interesting or whatever. So I don't know. That just seems. Otherwise, like, what's the point? I mean, that's why I went on the internet in the first place, was because I like the Mandrake forums, basically, or Star Trek, or Back to the Future. Something of interest.
Right.
Hobbies.
When it was it was hobbyists, nerd people. Yeah. It was fun, and it was fun on purpose. It was just dumb and silly, and now there's a lot of it that is just unnecessarily hateful and just terrible. But
I do have to say, I have been enjoying like this Sora 2. Have you seen those, like, the videos people make with Sora 2? So basically the internet's dead now. But there are these Mr. Rogers videos on YouTube, these shorts, that are hilarious. Look at Mr. Rogers on... maybe don't, because there's probably a bunch of nasty stuff out there too. So anyway, you can tell they're AI, but it's... Mr. Rogers has a taser. It's like his neighborhood is like crime infested now, and he tases somebody that's like trying to steal like a bike from a girl or whatever, and he says, "All right, the worst part's over. Make better choices next time." Stuff like that. It's really very funny.
The animal ones are pretty safe. The AI ones, it's like animals interacting, they're pretty.
Oh yeah.
Innocent. Get a good chuckle.
They're doing that with Bob Ross also.
Are they Bob Ross also? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Brother,
I gotta send those to my dad. My dad
what's
loves
that?
StormOS.
I think the Mr. Rogers taking on the Terminator, that was pretty good too. Anyway, I'm just saying it's nonsense, but it's funny stuff. Makes me laugh. That's all I want to do. I just want to laugh. So, gotta have fun. All right, I think I have time for one more news story for all you. I didn't clear my throat because of this, but all you GNOME fans out there, there's something that even kind of sort of interests me. It's GNOME has a new security threat scanner provided by VirusTotal. So, I don't know how concerned we are about these things. Actually, I want to do one more news story after this. But for those interested in scanning files from malware and other threat detection under Linux and that are using the GNOME desktop, LensSpect has a new GNOME-aligned application that is GUI-powered by VirusTotal for being a Linux-native security threat scanner. So as noted in This Week in GNOME, LensSpect has launched as a security threat scanner built atop Google-owned VirusTotal. In turn, uses the GNOME-focused desktop application to you can use the API key and you can deploy this locally. So it's written in Python and makes use of the GTK toolkit. LensSpect 1 was released last week as a project's inaugural release. LensSpect is licensed under the GPL v3, and you can have it scan files and so forth and detect threats. So anyway, 20 years ago, I kind of went down the Linux route because I want to get away from viruses. But I did run like ClamAV for a while to make sure I wasn't like carrying anything if I was sent a lot of files, whatever. And I haven't done that in a while. But there's something like a malware scanner locally? Does that interest anybody to have?
Not yet.
No.
You want to download stuff from virus.web?
From ruckusbucket.com?
Or Xubuntu.
Yeah, yeah.
Get Ubuntu from softpedia.com?
Scanning all of those viruses I get from those Linux ISOs? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just from Xubuntu, right? Anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, I know I kind of like these little graphical front ends to analyze things. It makes me feel like maybe I'm doing something good, instead of playing Free Cell on my desktop. So, then I think we have time for one more. So, I did want to cover this because I thought this was this piqued my interest. But the SuperTuxKart has released version 1.5. It's an open source racing Mario Kart-ish like game. Oh, that's not what it says in the article here. But it says after several years of development, SuperTuxKart 1.5 has been officially released today for free. Open source and cross-platform kart racing game. A major update that brings new features and improvements. Coming 3 years after the previous release, 1.4. It brings new benchmark mode, new LOD or level of detail, settings to reduce popping, finer control of the game's audio levels, new egg hunts on the Black Forest, Grand Padistra Island, and the old mine tracks, and support for spotlights. Also brings graphical enhancements to the overworld as a goodbye to the 1.x story mode. I don't know what that is. As significant updates to the Vulkan renderer, offers better display of carts, tracks, and game modes, and implements SSAA and percentage closer soft shadows for users with powerful GPUs. On top of that, the release improves the parachute and bubblegum shield animations, adds support for configuring STK's maximum FPS with the game's options. Instead of being limited to the maximum of 120 FPS on PCs and 30 FPS for Android, it adds new fonts and to allow rendering several new languages. Among other changes, it introduces new music for the Las Dunas Arena and the Las Dunas Soccer Arenas, adds color and sound indicators when the elimination is about to happen in the follow the leader, enables smooth scrolling for Irrelict, and improves the accuracy of the frame rate limiter. Last but not least, SuperTuxKart 1.5 adds some graphical effects for legacy video drivers, improves cascade shadow mapping, improves the performance of scene node iterations, enables new shadows settings, and improves image quality and on low and medium presents with better anisotropic filtering. Anisotropic? I'm sure Adam knows what that is and is probably laughing that I can't pronounce it. You can download SuperTuxKart right now.
Oh, I am.
For 64-bit ARM and x86 systems. You can run the game, extract the archive, and execute the run.sh file. Alternatively, you can get it from Flatpak on FlatHub. So I thought that was kind of exciting. That's from 9 to 5 Linux, by the way. Anybody here going to give SuperTuxKart 1.5 a try? I know I am.
I'm gonna wait for 1.2.
I'm not.
So you can run this command. I know I'm sure GNU to Linux will use this one. It's flatpak install and then this right here for SuperTuxKart. There you go, everybody.
Oh wait, when it's on VR.
Oh, can wait that long, huh?
I bet you in 2.0 they add easy anti-cheat.
Do you get an open source version, or it just breaks the Linux compatibility?
Just breaks.
Just breaks, yeah. Well, anyway, I thought that was exciting. You know, it's still people are still working on SuperTuxKart. It's been around for quite a while, and I think the last release was pretty decent, but I haven't played it. I think I last played it in the during those crazy times when we were locked down. So I think it'd be nice to try it again just for funsies. I know for a while they're like my kids and nephews liked playing it against each other until, I don't know, the new season of Fortnite came out. I don't know. Well, all right. Give me a second here. I got to check something because I think I'm missing a little bit here. Okay. So next week is a may as well get into housekeeping now since we're getting close to the end of time. Next week is an application night. So if you guys have any suggestions for applications, any thoughts? Nope.
Wait for what? Sorry.
So next week, if you got any applications, any neat applications that are out there.
Emacs.
I said neat applications.
Yeah, I know. I heard you.
Well, sweet. Anybody got any thoughts? Anything maybe you'd like to share? Should we look at some containers? Play with containers? Should that be like the challenge? Would that be a fun thing to do? Look for some neat Docker containers, or I guess Flatpaks, I suppose. Are snaps considered
like
containers?
self-hosting stuff?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I was like looking at I know people have done it, but like image, I heard Snicket chat is kind of interesting. I haven't had a chance to play with
What's
it.
that? It's like a.
It's apparently like a self-hosted chat setup or system that's kind of like a modern, I guess, like a Telegram or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know. I haven't really played around with it, but yeah. So I've been kind of looking at stuff like that and just wondering, what people do for self-hosting outside of the obvious like media stuff or like, I don't know, like the office type stuff or file sharing, stuff like that. I just didn't know if there was people trying to like get off of different services. I mean, we've been talking a little bit about that kind of stuff and privacy, and if there were things they were doing in a home lab, with containers or without containers, whatever.
Do like local AI stuff in containers. That's fun.
Local AI.
Local what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool too.
And web UI, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that. I think we could look at Vince's list as a good starting point. Nextcloud AIO, although don't start with that apparently. Home Assistant, Sterling PDF. I remember we talked about Sterling PDF some time ago. I never actually really looked into it deeper because didn't really have a need to. So I'm not sure, is that like a collaborative PDF thing?
Copy Party is one that I have on my list to look at.
Or that's a sick one. That's a really solid file manager server.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's easy to implement.
In case you wanted Vince's input, he stepped away for a bit. So just to let you know.
Yeah, that's okay. He'll come back maybe.
Yeah.
Just so you guys...
I set up a Bitwarden Docker image.
Oh,
yeah,
cool.
They have a Docker image available. You can run your own server.
Yeah, I've looked at that. I just never really... Yeah, a lot of these are just cool. Yeah.
I was going to say real quick that some folks who mess around with this like find it helpful if they have a spare machine, of course, is to like install Proxmox and let that be like their Docker experimentation place, because it's easy to do snapshotting within that little area, and if there's a Docker image that you're pulling that's like an old image by accident, because sometimes there's like hundreds of implementations of some of these services like Nextcloud, you got to really source the right Docker image. By having it isolated with like Proxmox or something like that, if something were to break out of a Docker, something in Docker, it can kind of save your butt from breakage or some type of security thing.
Yeah, that's one I've wanted to look at too.
One that I've been playing around with lately is something called Winboat. Has anybody heard of that?
I heard of it, and it looked interesting. And I thought I missed the show where you talked about it already.
No, I haven't talked about it yet. I've been participating a little bit on the GitHub with that, kind of working out some issues. I did not contribute anything of any value, just saying I had the same bug. But the solution for the bug was pretty great. So what Winboat is it essentially allows you to sort of run any Windows application inside Linux, but it uses basically a Docker container to run a KVM version of Windows inside of it. And then when you open up the application, it basically just uses free RDP to take and pull just that window and you use that on your Linux desktop. And so I only need it for one application, really. I need it for two, but now just one. For like the security camera software that I use at work. And so now that actually works pretty well. I give it a solid, 3 out of 5 stars. It's a little bit funny because I have some strange multi-monitor setups. When I go to, like if I go to maximize something, the way it spans across all your displays, it's a little bit ropey, but they're working on that. But really, actually, it works really well. If I have like a single screen setup, no problem at all. Multi-screen, depends on your multi-screen. But yeah, it's pretty handy. So I can like run Rufus for like making Windows images now. with that, and I could just plug it in and, you know, pass through the USB drive and build like a Windows 11 image, no problem. So for work, not for me. Anyway, that's a pretty cool container you can check out as well. But so I think, yeah, my operating system should be 3 out of, yes, you're right, Eris. You should have just actually just said that. And that, absolutely you're right. I think 3 out of 5 geekos or chameleons, whatever. So, all right, so is that okay for next week? Do containers?
I may not know much about it, but I'll still be here.
Containers of your choice. I think I want to focus more like on server stuff, but if you want to play with not server stuff, that's fine too. Whatever floats your boat.
I don't do much in servers outside StormOS and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe you can host a container that does like QA of things, automated QA. I don't know. That's probably more complicated. All right. Well, if you have any suggestions, be sure to send the suggestions at Linux. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say DistroBox might be another one for people to play with too. I know it's usually largely used in context of immutable, but you can use it just on a normal desktop. There's no reason not to. So.
Yeah.
Box Buddy is a good one for a graphical overlay of how to manage that in a nice, convenient way.
Yes.
Flatpak for Box Buddy.
Agreed. Yep.
I use that one, and that's great because what's fun is you can, with one click, you can then upgrade your box.
Yep.
That's pretty sweet. I gotta tell you. And actually, it was
I like cloning my box too. Is dope.
Oh yeah.
Easy cloning.
Mm-hmm. It's a pretty well designed UI for the most part.
So, have you been able to clone a box and like ship that box off to another machine?
No, but I might tackle that right after this call.
Because I think that'd be pretty handy. So I do, like, because I use Box Buddy to like as my, well, instead of a VM now, I'm using DistroBox for setting up things for that can kind of separate out work stuff from my personal stuff. If that makes any sense. Works pretty nicely actually, because you can do a separate home directory and everything else too. Anyway, yeah, that's a good one. So if you have any suggestions, send them to suggestions@linuxsaloon.com, or you can do it in Discord or Telegram as well. Somebody will find it. And yes, thank you. I guess we'll go into the community free pour. Got a few minutes, so Ben, if you have anything you want to kick it out now, or
what's the deal? The boys and I have been slaving the heck away.
The boys are back in
the
town.
latest. Hold on a sec, guys.
Holding on a sec.
Right. So here's the deal.
Is that boys with an S or a Z? I'm just curious. BOYZ.
It doesn't. It's with an S, but regardless, we've been grinding away at the latest release. We finally got our custom file manager, our custom launcher all sorted, and we've got even a custom terminal that we've developed. So we've got a few custom things in there, and we're still using XFCE, as you guys know, but we've made it kind of a window manager hybrid, like Ricky said last. So it's not the traditional XFCE you guys would think it would be. It's sort of becoming its own entity, so to speak, our own take on XFCE, but a little bit more advanced. We've changed it to where it's not, Thunar is still there, but it's not a stock file manager. Like I said, we've changed it to some of our own apps, and we've tested this to the nth degree, and it's finally ready. It's out there. So if you guys want to go and check out the latest version, it's up on SourceForge and Google Drive. So yeah, this latest release, we've done a lot to it. So if you guys want to go out there, go check it out. Have at it.
Sweet. Well, that's exciting. Do you have a link to your SourceForge?
I'll go grab it for you. Give me just a
Hey,
moment.
you just put it in the Discord chat, and then I can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, for sure. And
Do you have a link to the code base?
GitHub has been giving us a couple of problems, so we don't have the latest code up right now. But I'll get that pushed out after the show. I'll drop it in Discord. I'll put it in general chat for y'all. There's the ISO link, and then I gotta go. Just a moment.
All right. Yeah, go ahead and put it in there, and then we'll move on to
There's
the.
those links. Right, we're good on that.
We're going to put it onto the move on to last call. But thank you for sharing that, and then I'll make sure to put the link of whatever we provide.
I just put both of them in there.
All right, in the Linux Saloon chat. We can talk about that later. All right, well, it is time for last call. I want to get moving to that before something crazy might happen to my internet, because that does happen about this time of night. So I don't know if, I don't see Dale. Maybe he's off getting, well, there he is. What do you got coming up, Dale?
I'm planning on 2 Inkstitch videos and 3 OpenSUSE videos, or Linux in general, at least, this week. Now, whether or not I actually find time to do all that, I don't know, but that's what I want to do.
Cool. What are they going to be about specifically? Anything like what specific topics?
Inkstitch, I've got a couple of help me questions to answer, and OpenSUSE, I want to address the negativity towards Agama, the new OpenSUSE installer, and the idea of YAST being deprecated. Okay.
I'm a little lost without some of the YAST tools, but I think there's probably other ways around it.
Between Merlin and Cockpit, you're probably at least 85 to 90% there, just with those two.
Yeah, probably. It would be nice though to I wonder if there's some built-in Plasma tools that could be step-ins for some of those YAST tools.
There's a lot.
Maybe.
MX Linux does that a lot. They just find people who are just passionate about those utilities and tools and just brings it in. It doesn't have to be the creator. I think that's a smart way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Actually, one thing I like about the Agama installer is you can actually choose which, if you want Leap or Tumbleweed or whatever from that. That's kind of neat.
That's cool.
Yeah, you can in a good build of Agama, you should be able to choose between Leap, Slow Roll, Tumbleweed, Kalpa, the GNOME version of Kalpa, which slips my mind.
Aeon?
Yeah, Aeon, I think.
They're supposed to be
Micro
taking that
OS.
out, actually.
Yeah, the guy that's making Aeon doesn't want to use Agama as his installer. But
He doesn't want to even be listed in there.
no,
Even if
he
you're trying to
doesn't.
install anything else.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yep. Well,
He doesn't. I don't think he wants to be associated as OpenSUSE product anymore.
Correct.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
It is what it is.
I like Agama. I'm one of those weirdos that like YAST installer and I like Agama.
I think they all have their merits for sure. Well, cool.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, what do you got going on?
Not a whole heck of a lot. Still laptop shopping. Yeah, not really too much. Got some website stuff to do. So that's about it.
Cool. Canoe to Linux. How's Mint treating you?
Very well, as usual. Tomorrow we'll be doing the Mintcast 3 p.m. ET, although it's not live, but it will be up on YouTube and elsewhere soon thereafter.
Anything you want to tease on that? Like what you're going to be chatting about?
Yeah, I think I have a couple of news stories I was interested in, including talking about the Fire TV 4K Select device that I will not be purchasing, and also I forget the other news story. But then there are a number of little projects and complaints and one or two minor rants I wanted to go on, and I have a captive audience, so they will they will be hearing about it tomorrow.
I have complaints and you will listen.
Right.
Fantastic. Jind, anything exciting going on in your world? Besides,
Oh no. Besides,
the trips that you've had lately that are not.
yeah, that's been taken over the last couple of weeks because someone needs to be wrapped in bubble wrap.
Some people need that. Well, excellent. Well, glad you could be here. Then Travara, you haven't. Glad you could hang out. I think I finally got your name. I can see it now. Wasn't letting me see it before. Did you change it? I don't know. Glad you were here. Thank you so much. Adam, always appreciate your input.
Work in Emacs.
Just work in Emacs. Is there a container for that?
It's the only container you'll ever need.
Yeah, contains everything. Eris, appreciate you being here and all you do.
Thank you.
And we've already heard from Ben. And then Mike, how's your so your dark reader of Marklight? That's actually been pretty darn great.
Yeah,
Any
I'm
other
glad you like.
any other planned changes?
Not for now. I'm gonna. I had a new tool I needed, so I just went ahead and started writing one. So I'll probably have more work for Jinda to do here soon.
I'm okay with that.
It's a real simple program that allows you to mask, resize, and lower the resolution of images for the web. So you can basically pick a whole directory, and it'll create a new directory of low DPI, PPI, and whatever size you set them images. So
Oh, that's cool.
I'll help you test that.
yeah, I'll be happy to give a copy to you for sure. Also, I wanted to mention something. Anybody here have a TCL television?
A what?
Anyone?
Do?
A
No.
TCL Roku TV?
Oh,
No,
Yes, no.
I don't.
Anyway.
Yes, I do.
no.
If you do, I think this happened. I have one in my bedroom, and I just noticed the other day it started acting up. I think what happened is when I had that lightning strike a couple of months ago that I told you guys about, I think it weakened some of the components, and it finally just gave up the ghost. So I started going out there to look for new TVs, and a buddy of mine said, just look on eBay. You can buy a whole new motherboard for almost nothing for those. And I went out there, and sure enough, I got the controller, the power supply, and the motherboard for under $100.
Wow.
And
Nice.
yeah, six screws out, and about 5 or 6 screws inside, and then put all the new components in, and it just started working. So
Sweet.
Red.
Louis Rossman would be proud.
I just hate to waste stuff like that. I mean, it's like
Yeah,
anyway,
no, I get you.
So
That's fantastic.
yeah, but anyway, yeah, I'll probably have a working version of the batch image resizer going here in the next couple of weeks, and anybody's interested, I'll be happy to get you a copy to test with. So, and there will be a dark mode, Nate.
Oh, good. Well, then I'm in. Prophetic, glad you could make it. What do you think?
Thank you. Me too.
What do you think? What do you think of this switch to Discord? Is that okay?
I despise Discord UX with a passion. If I let it be, it could be a small hobby of mine. How much I dislike it, but
we talked
you guys
about
are so
this.
cool. Yes. I actually made a YouTube video about it, a diagram about it, literally pinpointing the places where the UX is bad, and
I believe I
because you guys are
contributed
so cool.
to it.
Yeah, and you guys are so cool. I am willing to overlook the UX problems in Discord.
Yeah, I think I'm working my way through some of them. I should probably get there in the next 10 years or so.
Yeah. Eventually get used to the trauma, the visual assault on our eyes.
And well, thank you for being here. Anything you want to share, like as far as going on? I know you've kind of talked about some of the things you've had. I don't know if that's like for public or not.
I've been having a lot of fun with Replit. I've built like 3 like prototype apps. One that's like a renewed take on productivity, personal productivity. I did a fork of that for enterprise project management, task management app, and then I did like an app to catalog research, and especially for journalists or digital historians who just want to, try to capture a little bit of internet history. You want to just be able to tag things appropriately. And those have been a lot of fun. So I'm on this, I don't know if you guys heard of Y Combinator, but it's like a co-founder matching place where one of the services they offer is finding a co-founder. And so I'm just kind of going to be meeting up with like 3 to 4 people in the next month or so and just see, hey, let's just have fun and build something cool and, see where it goes.
Yeah, that's excellent. It's really awesome, actually. So hope that comes into, hope that turns into everything you hope it turns into.
Thank you.
Because I don't know what that's supposed to, I don't know what that means. Like, I know what success means for you, but I hope that it is a success.
Yeah. It's not crazy, the success, but yeah, I think we're on the same page with that. Like, success could be
you get everything you deserve.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Well, he says it.
Well, yeah, maybe not, but I don't know. But I don't need to be a billionaire like mogul. I just want to have fun with building something cool, and if it pays a couple bills, that's cool too. Like that's level 1 success for me.
Yeah, kind of grease the wheels a little bit more. A little more axle grease. Thanks for being here. Seeker, you've been very quiet today. Hope you're well. Thanks for being here.
Sorry about that. Been working on a file manager.
No worries.
Just looking for something.
So, yeah, that's. I mean, what information did you need? I'm just working on our StormOS stuff. That's all.
I just want to thank you for being here. That's all.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate all the conversations we've had before. Sorry, I've been quiet. I've just been focusing on that and listening to the show at the same time.
No worries. There's no requirement for you to say anything. Just glad you're here.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
And Vince, thanks for that share in Telegram.
Oh, it's cool.
I have to look at that. So glad you could make it. What do you think of the Discord move?
I'm happy with Discord. Yeah. It's got I like the audio quality. I find that's better than Zoom.
For me, it seems about the same, but I have tinnitus, so I don't think it really matters.
I just can't stand the mute unmute chime. I'm sure you can turn it off somewhere, but that drives me nuts.
Well, I don't hear anybody else's, so it's fine. The mute and unmute. So I'm in the streamer mode thing.
Oh, let's not forget soundboard. That's peak functionality.
Think you can get it inside mine?
Gotcha.
Yeah. I haven't looked at the soundboard thing yet, but I'll get there. Well, all right. Well, I have a website called cubiclenate.com. I write things. I did a couple things on my adventures with Thunderbird, making it a little bit better for me. So you can check that out at cubiclenate.com. So Linux Saloon is part of the Tux Digital Network. Check out more great shows at tuxdigital.com. I thank you all for your support, however you do it. Being a part of this conversation in both the Discord meeting as well as the YouTube stream, as well as for everyone watching the show after the fact. I thank everyone involved in making Linux and open source tools possible for us to not only have this conversation, but also to have fun and enjoy our technology. Linux truly puts personal back in a personal computer. Thank you for stopping by. Be sure to tip your developers, and please remember to Linux responsibly. Until next time, see yous. So you get out your soundboard stuff. Yeah, there we go. That's good. I didn't roll the credits earlier, so I'm doing that now.
I had no idea we were still live. So I got back and I thought you guys had finished.
Soundboard.
It's all good.